Oh man, I love this song. Every time I hear it, I can remember where I was and who I was with. It reminds me of the time. Does this sound familiar? Music is like a scent. It can instantly transport you to another time and place. I ask my guests to dish about their song with the memories that go with it. I'm your host, Tiffany Mason. I have a passion for music and a curiosity about how a song affects someone and why. Turn up your radio and let's explore Memories with a Beat. Hello, Podcast Land. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Memories with a Beat. And today I have John Kimble with me, and I am so excited to have you on the podcast today, John. I know that you reached out to me through Podmatch and said, hey, I think I can add massive value to your podcast. And I was really impressed with that because you are younger. And I was impressed with that because, so many people reach out and say, they want to brag about who they are and what they've got going on. But instead, your pitch or your, thought to me was, I can add a lot of value to your podcast. And after doing a little research and listening to your song, I don't doubt that. So thank you very much, John. Welcome to Memories with a Beat.
Yeah, no, I thank you for having me. And yeah, of course, I just love coming on. I mean, anywhere I go, plugging my stuff because sharing my message, that's what it's doing, basically. It's just helping people out as much as possible. Because if you have something that changed your life, like a process and system, why wouldn't you share it?
I love that. You are wise beyond your years. You don't even know. Okay, well, we are going to jump into a song called Fighting Demons, Dropping Jewels by Montana of 300. I had never heard of this band before, or this singer. So a little bit about the singer is his birth given name was actually Walter Anthony Bradford. He goes by Tony Bradford. And then, of course, his rapper name is Montana of 300. So, and he actually, I thought that this was really interesting, finding out that he actually played a role in the show Empire in 2015. And if you guys want to check it out, it's the episode titled Without a Country. So, just interesting fun facts to know about the artist and the song that we're going to dive into. I would love for you, John, to go ahead and just dive right into why you chose this song. If it comes on the radio, where do you go in time?
No, every single time I choose this song is really to like realign me with my purpose because it talks about, like I said, fighting demons and all kinds of stuff. And every time it comes on, I mean, it always just really connects me and ties me to my past. And obviously, I know that
Mhm.
my past are the prerequisites to my future success. And there's one line in the song, like God is my only chronic. And I mean, I was addicted to dope and all that stuff back then, so it really hits home because like really once you dive deep and get on that spiritual level and you can really tell and you can really when you elevate yourself to a way higher frequency, that frequency becomes like a drug. You become
Mm.
addicted to, and what I call the higher frequency is like it's getting in flow state.
Mhm.
Let's just say if you get your heart moving or if you run into something that's really most hardest for you that you were avoiding for a period of time, if you stop procrastinating, you get like a moment of clarity. It's like a pinnacle moment.
Mhm.
So, for example, for mine is always going to the gym and getting that enlightening feeling after a workout, putting me in flow state because my blood pressure and everything's moving.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's just connecting to God because when you connect to a higher frequency, that higher frequency connects you to God, and that's just what I love about
Yeah. No, I love that. When did you find this song?
it. I found it like, when I was 15 years old. I mean, the person that actually influenced me to go down this like life of crime actually is the one who introduced me to this guy's music. So ultimately, the
Oh,
music, like,
interesting.
yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, it was like 15.
Wow. So you met this guy, he introduced you to this song, and then can you tell, do you feel comfortable talking a little bit about your past, what that looked like?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, he was the reason. Oh, I wouldn't say he was the reason but mainly the people that we hang around influence our behaviors massively.
Hmm.
So basically, I mean, I was like I always say, I was raised in a good home, but that influenced my behavior. I started going down a life of crime, and it was just really got introduced to like the street world, street violence, and then eventually I led to drug use, and then drug use led to us getting money for the drugs and stuff like that. So we had to,
Sure.
I don't know, we didn't have to do it, but robbing houses and stuff like that. I mean, I got convicted of multiple felonies and misdemeanors, and But like I always say, that's actually where my early wake up time stemmed from. Like I always got up early because of boxing and everything, but that past, like of course I got punished by the law, but my dad also maybe punish me by making me get up early and then going to work with them early. And I just hated that so much. But now looking back at it, it really wasn't a punishment. It was a gift because my early wake up I use now is like the prerequisite and the cornerstone to really alleviating any negativity that I have throughout my day and aligning me straight to my purpose. Like so it all led back. Like everything that ailed me in the past, I look at it now as just an opportunity to grow who I am now. So basically, that's just what had happened. I mean, that's why I listen to that song a lot and his music because it all ties to my past. It all ties to the trauma or whatever you want to call it and the bad negative events that happened. Like it all ties to it.
Have you ever heard the saying, you are the sum of the five people you hang out with the most?
Oh yeah. Mm.
Yep. So that sounds like that's kind of what happened, just the wrong kids at the wrong time. And unfortunately, thank God your parents loved you enough. I mean, do you look back at it now and realize that that was just your father's love for you?
Oh, it was 100%. Now,
Yeah.
yeah, I realize that. Yeah, because I'm more clear minded now. And that's the thing, right? When we're going through problems in life, clarity is usually blocked because of the
Mm,
actual negativity we get from the problem. And then the emotions. We act off of emotion and feelings rather than thoughts and logic. So now, after everything's cooled off, after I'm like mentally well, I look at it back at the problem with thoughts and logic, and I really see everything and how it elevated me to who I am now. People need to do more reflection in life. And that's why that lyric hits hard too, because I used to run away from the internal problems through external solutions like vices and drugs and alcohol, like are chronic. But now God is my only chronic, like that lyric said.
mm.
So now every time when I'm feeling negative, I have my process that strengthens me back to my best self and gets me connected, more connected to God.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty powerful. I mean, I'm just impressed. It's just impressive that you can, look back in 2020 with like so much clarity. I mean, there are things that I look back on and can finally find a little bit of clarity myself, but jeepers, I didn't go through half of the stuff that you've gone through.
And sometimes people need to go through things to realize stuff, but other people don't. They can just look at
Mm,
things and take the advice and everything from it and take the solution and knowledge from it. But I mean, yeah, I'm 18, and all that stuff happened when I was 15. But the thing is, like, okay, so it was so bad to where, I mean, I was going into a psych unit and had got diagnosed or wanted to get me diagnosed as a sociopath and all this kind of stuff.
mm,
But I always say that I was never a sociopath. I partook in the actions that were sociopathic, but I never was one because I don't really believe in that
sure,
type of stuff.
sure.
So that's the only reason why I am now. Like the only reason why who I am now is because I just at this young of an age is because I transcended self and I realized all the universal truths and everything at such an early age because age is in wisdom, not numbers.
Mm,
So if you understand any universal topic or law or whatever at any age, you're exposed to it, and that's what the law of exposure states: is once you're exposed to it, you can't go back. There's no going back to your old ways or your old habits without your conscience calling you towards something greater. So basically, what I did was I just understood all of this stuff and I implemented it, and now there's like no going back. Like my mind's set on just this forward progression towards something greater rather than using vices and all that stuff to pull me back.
wow, I am super inspired and I love everything that's coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Curious for you, over the last 3 years, has this song changed its meaning to you? So, like when you first heard it versus now, are there lyrics at that time that really stuck out to you versus lyrics that really stick out to you now?
Oh, it was all the same. I got introduced to it when I was like 15. It was a younger age. So I mean, when I listened to that stuff, I actually didn't pay mind to the lyrics. I just paid attention to the music, just the I mean, the
Mm,
feeling. I don't know how to explain it. It's like the beat and all that stuff, rather than the actual lyrics. But now that I understand myself more, I understand the lyrics more and what it's saying,
right.
and it hits way differently now. Yeah, because now I reflect on what he's saying, and now I can actually relate to it more because I've overcame all of the stuff, and that song is literally about fighting demons and overcoming them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you can just connect to it way more. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like it's a collective consciousness, so you can feel the energy he's putting into the song. You can feel the
Mm.
energy he's putting into the song because he went down that route as well one time, in one point in his life, and then he's overcome it, and now he's partaking in habits and actions that align him with his best self. And you feel that in the song. So once you're aligned on that path, and you're listening to somebody who is also aligned on that path, it's like a collective consciousness. It connects, and then you feel that, and then you really elevate, and it kind of puts you in flow state and the frequency just listening to it because you can relate and
Yeah.
connect to it. But if you're, let's
Yeah.
just say, if I'm having an off day and I'm not really aligned with my purpose, and I'm losing, like I didn't, like I missed my wake up and all this stuff, then I mean, I might not connect to the song as well as I
Sure.
would, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think when we're younger, we do kind of go more for a feeling or a vibe or, the
Yeah,
reaction. And then as we get
yeah.
older, the meaning sinks in and we go, oh, okay, that means something a little bit different than I originally thought. So that makes complete sense to me. And then the title of the song being Fighting Demons, Dropping Jewels. And you were talking about fighting demons. I thought it was so perfect after listening to the whole song. At the end, it's almost kind of a mic drop because he uses that the title of the song as some of the last lyrics. And I was like, oh, snap. Like he's gone through all this stuff and the final conclusion is fighting demons, dropping jewels. I really loved it.
Yeah, me too. I love that too. It's like all it connects. And the thing about his music is like, I mean, he really preaches, like you said, he drops jewels, like you don't feel him lying in any of the songs. And it's not rap songs like you would normally hear about like gang violence and all this other stuff, just solely preaching about the street life. He preaches about the street life, but he does it in a positive way. That really realigns back to conscious congruency or following down a more positive path, which I love. And yeah, every time when I
Hmm.
show my mom a
Hmm.
song that's just purely focused on beat and stuff, because I still love that stuff. I mean, I
Of
go to the
course.
gym, or on my way to the gym, I listen to it, and then but my mom's like, "Oh, what is this? Like, get it on my." She don't like that at all because I mean, she's like 50, 60,
Yeah.
so yeah. I mean, that's definitely.
Well, I will say it is an explicit song, so everybody beware if you go check it out on the Apple, Spotify, or YouTube playlist. But if you can just kind of, ignore it, move on, and really focus on what the rapper is trying to say, it really has a very powerful message. And speaking of the song and working out and gyms and all that kind of stuff, I could totally see myself like on the elliptical or benching some weight and this song like really getting you amped up and one, getting you amped up for the workout, but two, putting you in that high flow, high frequency vibe. Like, let's get this done, right? Like, very motivational. I love this song. So I know that you are probably listening to it in the gym. Do you have it on a playlist or
Yeah, I do.
anything?
And then I only listen to it when I'm hitting like a really heavy PR. I don't listen to music in the gym because I like to listen to like what I like to do my morning reflection in the gym, like what I regret from the past day and stuff like that, and listen to my thoughts. But yeah, I'll listen to music when I'm hitting like a PR. And then I do it because it reminds me of my mom a whole lot because
Mm.
it talks about like his mom's proud of him because he's successful now, and I'm just like, oh fuck, like if when I become successful, if I could just reflect back and see how proud she is off of how proud she wasn't, and then now she's telling me she
Yeah.
already is proud of me, but I mean, gratitude is results. So I just have this mindset solely focused on I have to get as much results as possible, but I've just come to the point where just showing up every day, bringing my best self. But yeah, anyway, the I love listening to that song when hitting the heavy PR because it always reminds me of that, my mom, and then really making her proud.
Now you're in really good shape, and I'm sure that your mom is proud of you, for your mental progression, your physical progression, but also a little bit of entrepreneur in you. So you have an online gym, is that online fitness club?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a online personal training I do slash life coach because I always say that the fitness and nutrition is a part of it,
Mm,
But yeah, I do, and it really stemmed from just helping people.
mm,
Like once they saw me overcome everything that I've overcame, they asked me how I done it, and they came to me with their problems, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, I'll help you out with your problems.
Hmm.
I didn't even know you can charge for this stuff. I didn't go into it like I'm gonna make a bunch of money and become a millionaire. I came
Okay.
into it because I was just, how many people can I help? And then
Oh,
I realized I could monetize it. So I
yeah.
did that,
Yeah.
and then I started monetizing it like very recently because I had clients in India,
Mm.
like because I just trying to push it out there as much as possible, just reaching people and helping them. And you can see the life change. And I mean, I always thought that the best moment of my life was like winning my first ever boxing match in
Mhm.
9 seconds. But but I mean, nothing realigns you back to that high, that really internal, positive, deep feeling than giving everything to others, everything you wish to receive internally within yourself. So giving everything that I want to receive to everyone else is like the best thing I could possibly do. So that's where my business stemmed from. Just the online and training, mindset, nutrition.
I wanted to tell you, I love the artwork on your website. So if you guys are looking for an online gym and you want to see some really cool artwork, go on there. And then also, you guys, I saw on his website, he has a blog. So if you guys are looking for tips on diet or form or different workouts that are really going to be beneficial for you, that's where you want to go. So, John, what is your website for everyone to go check you and all those good things out?
Yeah, it's kimblefit.com on my website. And on my Instagram is kimble_fit. That's where I do all my posting.
Wow, that's incredible. Very holistic that you're, wise enough to understand that mindset
Yeah.
has to go with a lot of that. So that makes sense to me. I also think misery loves company. So, you sharing your struggles in the past makes you like a real person to them. And it helps them to understand, well, I guess two things, that life could be worse because yours is really a tale of a tough life. I mean, my life wasn't that tough growing up, so somebody else can go, like if was to find you online, I could go, okay, if John can overcome it with his background, I have an easier background, surely I can overcome it. But also they go, wait a minute, John lived that life that I'm living now. Let me learn from someone who has been there, done that. I think that is really amazing. I mean, and it has to, I would imagine it's exceptionally rewarding when you do see that life change and you can pat them on the back, even if it's just virtually, for their progress and how far they've come along. That's amazing, John.
Yeah, it is, and it really is seeing the change. But the thing is, like, a lot of people in my situation, or a lot of people that was in my situation, think that they are the only people that have that problem. But then when they go into a place
Mm,
like a psych ward or something, they have people. You see people that's even worse off than you, or the same exact problem as you, and like, damn, this
mm,
is just a common ass problem that I just magnified over time from ignoring my conscience, and then like
mm,
it just keeps magnifying every time you ignore it. But yeah, you realize that like there's people way worse out there. It's just they don't really share their story. But the moment you start sharing what worked for you and how you ever overcame everything, even if it's something simple, or if you what you use to overcome and align yourself on a day to day basis, then people love that because they're too nobody's sharing their stuff anymore. But yeah, and that's what I do, and that's why it's so rewarding because people that's been through either the same thing, like you said, they agree with that, and then they really get inspired by it. And you get messages like I got a phone call from somebody who was like 40, 50 something years old, and he's like, I can't believe I'm calling an 18-year-old about this. It was like 2 weeks ago, but he's like, I don't know, man, something about you just like is calling me. So he called me and he admitted himself into a mental hospital, and then he was thinking about suicide and all this stuff.
mm.
And I was like, and he actually told me, like, first off on the phone, he's like, I was trying to call and get on a therapist, but they said they're not open right now.
Oh,
Yeah, he said, well, they said they weren't available. They're only be able to call on Tuesdays. I'm like, what the fuck is that, bro? Like, you can call me at 2 in the morning and I'll be on here. Like, I'll answer the phone. Like, that's just
uh,
that's just dumb. That's the thing about like in the psych unit, they wanted to give me a therapist for being a sociopath, and then put me on meds and all this stuff and send me to rehab. But I was like, I didn't need any of that. And actually, I probably did at the moment because when I got out, I did get hooked on it again. But ultimately, I woke up from a hangover one day and
mm,
I used the habits that I use now to quit all of that shit. So, like, I just implemented personal development processes, switched something that was negative for something that was more positive. And that just changed everything. Like, I changed my mindset, changed my habits, and it realigned me. But yeah, then that's just what it is.
Yeah. How long have you been clean, John?
Oh, since March 15th, 2021. And I
Oh.
wouldn't say I'm like heavily I wasn't heavily addicted for years on end, like these like very, but it was heavy for a short period of time. Like they wanted to send me to these places and stuff, and I actually got isolated in a room in the psych unit because of how addicted I was, and they wanted to watch
Mm,
me to make sure I wouldn't seize out or something like that.
wow. Hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious, the people that you used to hang out with, do you hang out with any of them now? And if so, have they had the same kind of transformation that you've had?
Well, the people that I hang out with them back then, I either don't know them or either don't really know them anymore, or I do know one of them though. The main guy. I mean, he's always been. I say been there since day one. I wouldn't say had my back, but I say he's always been there. But yeah, I mean, he's doing better physically. He got physically in shape and all this stuff, but he's still dealing in all this. He actually liked my video. He actually liked my
Mm,
video on TikTok, like right before coming on here. I saw that's kind of crazy, but yeah. Yeah, but he's. I mean, he's still involved in that because I don't know. It's just his upbringing. But yeah,
yeah, well, we all have to choose our own paths, and good for you to know, who you can keep in your life and who, unfortunately, you have to weed out. I mean, we have to,
yeah.
even me as a, white woman in suburbia, there's even people that are toxic for me that I have to weed out. So,
Oh yeah, yeah,
that applies to everybody that sometimes, people are in your life for a reason or a season, and sounds like that season just might be up, and that's okay.
yeah. Exactly. I mean, yeah, it applies to anybody out there in the world, like anybody out there. Not just because somebody had a rough upbringing. I mean, there's people out there that negatively packs people on a day to day basis, and your vibe attracts your tribe. So whoever you hang
Right.
around is ultimately who you're going to turn out to be. So I mean, just hanging around people that have higher standards for you is just good. Like people that are way above my position. Like I don't even care if I'm 18. Like I
Mm.
look at 18 as just okay. It's just an age. Like I should. Sometimes I get too caught up and I need to actually stop and just reassess everything and look back because I'm like, why am I not in this person's position? But he's like 39 years old and multimillionaire and all this stuff. But I'm like, dude, you're 18. You're on chapter one. He's on chapter 20. Like, chill out.
Mm.
But that's just what it is, what it's about. I mean, it's better having that type of mindset rather than, oh, I can't do anything.
Yep.
I can't do
Yep.
shit because I mean, just getting around people that are doing it more or doing the same thing as you, just on the right path, the same exact
Absolutely.
path, or that have higher standards for you.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. I wonder, can you share with me some lyrics that really stick out to you? I know that you shared God is my chronic. Is that what it was?
Yeah, God is my only chronic. Yeah, and then demons. Yeah, demons will bring you down, but he'll bring you up like hydraulics. That's like right after, I think.
Mm,
But it's always good because I like that quote a lot because it's like the law of polarity. Demons will bring you down, but he'll bring you up. It's because you can't experience the highest of
mm,
highs if you haven't went through the lowest of lows.
yep.
So whatever your losing season or like whatever season you want to call it, the moment that everything's just not going your way at all, if you switch that mindset and actually have a more positive one, and then just know that it's nothing's forever, and that downfall or that upbringing is going to be just as much if not even more than the downfall was. It's like whatever you experience down the negative route will be 10x down the positive one, and that's what happened to me. I mean, my life has changed drastically. Like I can't imagine me doing anything else in this life but helping people. Like I feel good all times of the day. That's why I love that quote so much.
I am so impressed with you. Where have you learned all this knowledge? Like, I'm 44 and I know these things, but
Hmm.
I didn't have a clue about any of that until probably my 30s. So, how have you gained all this, like, serious wisdom
Right, yeah,
in such a short amount of time?
I know I've gained a lot, and because I just implemented the acts, like I had just a lot of discipline. I don't know if it's genetic. I don't think it's. I don't believe anything's genetic, but I just had a tons of discipline, just implementing these like non-negotiable, self-inflicted
Mm,
adversities every day, and it just once you do that, you just gain a bunch of knowledge because you actually implement this stuff. You're not just learning about it and reading about it. But the main person it stemmed from was Wes Watson. That's his name. He's my mentor now, but he
okay.
yeah, and he got out of prison for after doing 10 years, and I mean, he's a multimillionaire now doing life coaching and business coaching, all this stuff. But when I was getting arrested and all this, I knew I was going to go to prison. Like I thought I was going to go to prison for a long time. So I started listening to him because he talked about prison stories. And then I didn't even know it was a whole mindset page. So that's where it really
Mm,
came from. So it came from that, but it led on. And I don't like copying anyone's words. So I don't really, I don't really do any of that. So I just learn from my previous mistakes and then gain that knowledge and wisdom and just take that on in life. Like people, I just reflect more than anybody else my age. When everybody gets confronted with a problem, they usually run away from it. But the more you run away from the problem, the more it magnifies. So I don't really seek any external solution for an internal problem. I like to sit deep in that pain and to learn from it. So that's where I get all my knowledge from.
wow. It's so wise to like just be quiet and just
Yeah.
listen
Oh, yeah.
what the universe is trying to tell you, what God is trying to tell you. And I think that's so important that you do that every day when you're doing your workout, that you're really reflecting. And I think it's admirable that you said, you try to think about what could you have done better yesterday. And that's what we all need to do. We all need to strive to just be 1% better than we were yesterday. I have a friend that says that all the time, but I think it's so true that, just these small improvements, which clearly you have done that. And I think that that's great that you've been out there just to support other people in a similar situation as you. And, you have music like this to support you. I think that that is so cool. And I think it's cool that this song at one point, like you were like vibing on it, right? Like you and the boys, and you're going to go do whatever you're going to do. That wasn't great, right?
Yeah.
But it united you guys. And then that same song now reminds you, of the adversities, what you've overcome, and how you're going to shoot for the stars or shoot for better. I mean, because the song really does have a very positive message.
Oh, it does. Very positive. Yeah. And oh, yeah. It would really bring us together. I mean, we'd be listening to Biggie Smalls before doing a lick or something like, oh, I don't know. It was just hype. But it always calls me back. It always calls me back, especially when I watch all these movies about robberies. That's why I cannot watch any of these movies that deal with robberies or something. Because I'm like, oh, shit.
Mm,
But I mean, I'm done with that now. Like, it's just completely in the past. But yeah, I mean, music is
yeah.
like a perfect way to realign ourselves and to ignite everybody
Hmm.
else, like everybody around us, to engagement. It's like positive engagement, a good thing like that. But I love it because I never really listened to music, so I thought it was something pleasurable that takes me out of a purposeful state.
Huh.
But I realized that music was. I mean, it connects you even more.
Yeah.
Like I'll come home crying from the gym sometimes because I'm so deep into the music.
Mm.
Yeah, and like everybody does, especially the gospel, like Merle Haggard. Even listening to them, oh man, yeah.
Well, John, what else do you want to say about this song as we kind of wrap things up?
I was listening to it before this. I mean, any event that let's say if I'm going speaking at an event like in person, or if I'm nervous or something, like I'll listen to the song because
Mm,
it's always good to have a song like that, right? That
yeah.
realigns you and that push you back on like a successful mindset
Hmm.
that's strictly based off of just like, okay, it doesn't matter what's gonna happen. Like I'll do this. Like no matter the outcome, it's just operating off of a feeling of hope instead of fear. Like even if
Mm,
rather than what if. So it's pretty much that's what that song does. It goes that deep. Like anytime something nervous or
mm,
anytime an event is about to pop up, then yeah, I'll listen to the song, do some push ups, some burpees, and then it completely gets me aligned in a more purposeful state where I'm not existing in any future anxiety or negative depression. I'm solely focused, present in the moment. And that's what that song does. That's why everybody should have. I mean, people can have different things that align them to that state. But yeah, that song always does for me.
I absolutely love that. Okay, now final question. When you buy music, and I feel like you might not even be able to answer this question because you used to buy a CD cover and it would have a leaflet inside of it.
Oh yeah.
So, what do you do? Do you look up a song? Are you a Spotify user? Are you an Apple Music user? And then when the song comes up, what
Yes.
are you doing? Are you just looking at the lyrics? Are you just listening to the song? What part is most important to you, I guess, initially?
No, SoundCloud. It's such, I think SoundCloud's old. I don't know, but it's just like I love SoundCloud. Spotify gets me too mad because of all the ads and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's just SoundCloud, and only time I listen to music is either, let's say, on the way to the gym, or I don't know, really, if I'm emotional or something, because I just love
Mm.
listening to certain music that makes me think of my future family I'm gonna have,
Mm.
like the future wife and kids I'm gonna have, and it really puts me back on like everything I should be doing to become that man for them. So if I'm slacking or procrastinating or something, let's just say if that song or a Spanish song comes on, because oh man, like I always dream about having like a chick from Spain.
Okay.
Oh, I love chicks from Spain. They look so good. So I listen to like Spanish music because it makes me think about them, and I'm like, oh, I gotta be that man. It's whatever works, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I
Yeah.
gotta be that man for, fuck. I gotta be ripped. I gotta be like tatted. I gotta be like anything that my vision aligns to. I gotta be this successful, like ripped, all across the board, successful dude. So that's the only time really I'll listen to the music, and anytime I'm feeling like that way.
What do you think evokes those emotions? Is it the words or is it the music?
The music when it comes to the Spanish music, because I don't know what they're saying,
For
but
sure.
yeah, but that but especially the words on the other music like this song, yeah, of
Hmm.
course, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, if there are any Spanish women that are listening to the podcast and you are interested in dating this super positive, he's pretty good looking, ladies, so check him out, John Kimble. Okay, well, podcast land, I hope that this episode sticks with you like the memories to your favorite song.
Podcast land, thank you so much for listening. If you had a few memories of your own pop up with this episode, make sure to take a screenshot, tag me on social, Tiffany Mason or virtually you, and share those memories. I know y'all are listening, and I'd love to hear the memories you were reminded of with this song. Also, would you do me a favor and share this episode with someone you think would enjoy it? This is the best way you can help me to grow my audience. Can't wait to dive into my next guest's memories with a beat. Hit subscribe now. You don't want to miss the next episode.